I said I got it recorded, and don't say anything that you think that you don't feel comfortable with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So let's just start off from the top. Again, I appreciate you for entrusting me my platform, and I guess whoever you come to know me to be with your information. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I want to be able to assist you to get to the other side of this. And a few of my friends that also help me with research and things like that, I'm pretty sure we're going to put this in the bag. You follow me? Social media wise, I know you're dealing with things through litigation, but social media wise, we're going to put this in the bag. You follow me?
Definitely.
And we'll go, and we're going to go at your pace too. So if you ever see me do a video where I'm overstepping my boundaries, you have my number. You can call me and say, brother, can you take that down? I don't think that's good for what direct. You know what I'm saying? Because in this social media atmosphere, sometimes we say, man, I got to throw this out for the people, but it may not be good on your side for what you're trying to do. So if you ever see that, you know what I mean, feel free to hit me up and say, brother, you said something. Maybe you shouldn't put that out on YouTube. Maybe you could do that privately somewhere, but not on YouTube, if that would ever to happen. You follow me?
Right, I understand. I follow.
So let's start from the top. Now, I know you don't want to say your official name, and that's fine. Or I guess not official name, but
I go by the name Uma York.
You go, say it again?
I go by the name Uma York.
Uma York. Let me get so
yeah, everybody knows him.
And you are let me get 1 second. I'm so unprepared. I'm always doing something, trying up to the minute.
It's understandable. I'm literally making my breakfast.
Say it again.
I just finished my. I said it's okay. I understand. I'm running a little late myself. I'm just making my breakfast.
Right. So Uma.
I just finished my workout.
So Uma York.
Yes.
And you are one of Dr. York's biological daughters?
Yes. I'm his biological daughter.
And if you don't mind me asking, how old of you, so we can give some perspective?
I'm 38 years old.
You're 38. Were you raised directly by your father and your mother, or were you separate from your father and raised by your mother?
I was raised by both parents.
Did you live on the land?
Yes, I lived on the land. I lived in Bushwick. I was born and raised in Bushwick. And I lived on the land for a little bit. Then I moved back to Bushwick, until the shooting happened and the people were harassing me.
Right.
So up until that point.
So before we get all the way up into the Polight thing, I wanna get first. I want to get to some of the allegations surrounding your father. Do you believe any of those allegations have any credibility, or was it a setup, or where do you stand on the subject that Dr. York, your father, of the crimes that they were accused of, as we know, wasn't found guilty of, but people try to superimpose to the public that he was found guilty of, talking about the rape and molestation? Where do you stand on that?
Where I stand on that is, I have friends that, have said that they've had some experiences with my dad personally. And that's the only thing I can really say about that whole thing. In regards to how I feel about it, I pretty much try my best to keep it to myself, because it's a real emotional problem. It's a real emotional thing that I deal with.
Understood. So, when you were on the land, me being a Moorish American, we always are striving to have our own, if you will, our own space, even in America, as a Moorish American. When you were on the land, what type of if you're able to paint a picture, what was the life like on the land when you were there? How long were you there?
Well, I was there from when I was 14 up until let me see, about 16 years old. Before I ended up being shipped off by my sister, who was jealous of me and my father's relationship. Living on the land was, you wake up in the morning, you got military school, or you have regular school. Some girls have ballet. It was structure, shall I say? It was a certain form of structure. You ate with the kids. The girls lived in separate homes according to their ages. You have the baby's house, where it's the kids up until the ages of like about 4 or 5 years old. Then you have the young girl's house, and the young girl's house is from the ages of 5 up until about 16, 17. Then they become, adults, and they live with the older women, as what we call them, Nazis. They would be together in the different baits or in the different homes. Let me correct myself, because I still have some of the terms in my head.
What was it called? Different dates?
No, it was not said different baits. It's like different homes. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm just so that was a terminology that was used. Can you say it again?
Yeah, bait is just house.
I got you. I got you.
That's an Arabic term.
I got you. So what?
Yeah, my first language was Arabic.
So what happened? What would ultimately happen that your sister would get jealous of you? And is your sister known? Is this sister known to the public, or is just because you had mentioned to me that say it again?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you had mentioned to me off our conversation yesterday that I think you say your dad had over 100 children. Is that true?
Yeah, he has over 120 children.
Over 100
that we know of. Still finding. Some more has been literally popping out the woodwork even while he's incarcerated.
Okay, so over 120 children. So this is why I asked you: is it a sister that the public is aware of, or it was just one of the sisters in the community?
No, the public wasn't. The public, I don't think the public's still not aware of that. They believe that he only has one child, which is Ramesses, that you see, who calls himself Prince York online,
right?
And possibly a sister Hagar, who used to be, who would, work underneath my dad. And she also wrote, she helped her, well, she didn't write it, but, the sisters helped her write the book, Man from Planet Risk. Or is it Dr. York versus Computer? One of these books. Between those two books. Yeah, but, there's over 100 of us, literally, scattered out throughout the world at this point. Yeah, we were all raised in pretty much together at some point, some separated according to how their parents were. So let's say if your mom wasn't a part of the organization anymore, then the child would still come up on the land, visiting back and forth, we had people that would drive us back and forth from different parts of, wherever we were at. If you were in New York, if you were in Florida, if you were in Texas, it didn't matter. My father had stores all over the place, so he had people driving his kids back and forth on the land.
So again, just as a soundbite, I'm talking to Sister Uma York, who's a daughter of Dr. York, who have a unique experience with Brother Polight, and Brother Polight actually speaks to this experience of all things on DJ Vlad. On DJ Vlad, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I just want to try to get some background so I can use for my research. I just want to do that so I can use for my research. So from a social media perspective. Now,
are we streaming live?
No,
Okay. I was just curious.
It's in a private little cloud right now. It's in a private cloud. But what I was going to say is,
yeah, I would rather have told you than to tell the white reporter that keeps harassing me.
Oh no, sis. What we'll do is I'll look at this and then I'll come back and I'll ask you. I'll send you a copy of this and then I'll ask you if you want to go live on Moorish World TV, because that's a brutal audience. Sometimes, you know what I mean.
Trust me, I've been dealing with brutality my entire life with these organizations and these people. I've been getting harassed my entire life practically. So trust me, I've built skin at this.
So my thing is, I mean, for the most part, on Moorish World TV, we do have a respectable group that is supporters of what we're doing, trying to put out these crazies into the public so people don't get caught up into this in the future. But also because it's not controlled, like in the cloud that I'm in now, anybody can join in. You know what I mean? And they can be real antagonizing, real disrespectful. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
And so, but if you wanted to do it in the future, I would be gladly to interview you on Moorish World TV. But I would say just be prepared for some antagonists. Majority of those subscribers, over 20,000 subscribers, I will say the mass majority are respectful. The mass majority are, very cordial and very interested in your story and sensitive to stories such as yours. But you still have those people that can just come in and be antagonists, or they could feel as you have the few that are come in that is pro your father and may feel you attacking your dad, just telling your story, and would feel as though they want to get antagonistic towards you. But the moderators would definitely chop their skull off in that chat.
Well, it's very interesting that you say that, because none of those people are pro for my father. None of them at all. And something I sat back and realized myself as his child. These people, they claim to say they support him, and these the same people that come to me or come to my brother and will question us like, oh, so do you think he did it? So it's like, why are you following this organization if you have, doubts? So it says a lot about them. And to be honest with you, most of the people that are a part of that organization just looks at it as a financial stability for them and a way to feed their egos. So they know how I feel about them. They all know how I feel about them.
And
I have nothing to hide.
Now, are you so at this stage of your life, and I'm gonna jump forward and back. At this stage of your life, do you subscribe to any religion at any time? Because I have something in my song. I say you can say what you want about Dr. York, but he gave us different variations of the same thought. Because I followed from the Ansar law, and what I mean I'm aware of from the Ansar law all the way up into the New Wahhabia, and everything in between. What spiritual system, if you will, do you subscribe to today?
Well, I'm an initiated Mambo, and within the voodoo system, and I'm also in Ifa as well. So I believe in the African traditional system.
What I was going to say, did your father teach anything consistent with that?
Yeah, he did among certain children.
Okay, I got.
He shared. To be honest with you, not even just among certain children, but he even did it. He even gave classes on it to the public as well. And a lot of people, I guess, they missed it. That's why I say that a lot of these, people that's a part of the organization, that they're lost and they missed the actual picture of what he was trying to tell these people, because it was right in front of their face and they just missed it. I was like, how could you miss something like that? He spoke about Shango and Obatala, and he spoke about these different, spiritual systems, and they just ignored it.
If you don't mind me asking, and you can decline any question that I ask, be sure. Is your mother still a part of the spiritual systems or any of them as taught by Dr. York?
Well, not through. I can't say. My mom, of course, she believes in the books and stuff. My mom used to be his research analyst. She used to do all the researches for him. She wrote the book Purity and Neatness, which she didn't get no credit for. But yeah, my mom has written and helped him write some of these books as well.
Right.
So she definitely subscribe to the teaching, but that doesn't mean that you idolize and worship the person,
Exactly. Do she ever talk about how, if you don't mind me asking again, sis, if you decide like I'm not sure, I don't want to answer that, just tell me, sis, because I'm just trying to paint a picture. My mind paint pictures around stories, so I'm just trying to get a picture. How long was your mother with Dr. York?
Since she was 17 years old.
Since she was 17. And were they in for all intents and purposes like a committed relationship?
They had a spiritual relationship, yes.
Okay, I got you.
They both shared the same tribe. It was a tribal thing that they did together. They both have shaluts on their face, which is the 3 scratch marks or the 3 cuts on their face, which is a spiritual thing. And my younger brother, Moody, or people know him as Mahmoud, he's been into the voodoo system practically his entire life. My father told him to get into it from when he was young. So, this is something that they shared together that they were aware of, which is, the African spiritual system,
Okay, got you. When and I'm gonna go back in a second, but when your dad was accused of these and I say accused of these crimes because we know he wasn't convicted of none of these crimes.
Right, he wasn't.
Yeah, of molestation and all of that.
They charged him with racketeering and transport and minors, and they never went into the details of who these minors were that were being transported, and most of them are his children.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm very familiar with that. But you do it's a bunch of allegations out there that you have confessions from some people and it's et cetera, et cetera. So with that being said, have you ever talked to your mother about that and how have she ever expressed her position on that?
My mom said, I've never seen anything.
Gotcha.
In regards to, she said, because if she did, she would have left a long time ago, because my mom do not entertain anything with anything like that, but my mother also, she didn't live on the property in Edenton, Georgia. She didn't live there.
Okay.
We lived around the corner from the mosque at one point, because one of my older sisters, gotten sick. So my mom had to take care of my sister more.
Okay, I got you. So now what the sister that you got into conflict with, how did that start?
It started because my dad said he didn't trust her. Or me and my dad would have conversations, because I was a very pushy child, because my dad would wake up in the morning and there were women just plastered on his screen. It was like, good God, these women would not go away. Like, can you imagine just trying to get a breather and you're walking outside, you're just trying to get some space, and when you turn around, there's about 20 people walking behind you, so it was conversations that me and him would have about these people, how they just use, like, how can I have my own time with my dad without these random people around? So he figured out a way to make it happen, and it would be like, it would be like, come with me to, we're going to lunch, let's go to lunch. And he also found out that I was doing stuff, because I stayed in the girls' house at this time, and he found out that I would do stuff like, give the younger girls my food, because sometimes there wasn't enough food for everybody, because some of the girls would be greedy and overfeed themselves, and not make sure everybody had food. So it was times that I would like starve myself and just make sure that the younger girls had food and stuff like that, in which their mothers thanked me years later for it, I guess, when their daughters told them that I did stuff like that. You know, and I think my dad kind of had a general idea that I was doing stuff like that. So he would always make sure that he would take me out, you know, to dinners and stuff like that whenever he was going out sometimes. So we built a relationship that way. And he's seen I was pretty much like, you know, pretty forceful as a child, just trying to learn him, not really caring too much about all of the other stuff around. You know, I was different. You know, I was that child that was very different. Everybody was like, this one is different. You know, I wasn't complying to the what's going on. I was just like, I want to learn, and I did want to learn everything. That was one thing about me. I was so willing to learn everything. I would be in the mail room and hang out with the girls in the mail room and, you know, learn that stuff, learn the incense and learn, you know, videography, learn. I basically learned the business just by being so inquisitive. I even learned how to sew, you know. I did a lot while I was there. So, you know, he noticed that, you know, he noticed there was something different in me. So we started to talk about certain things. And he would talk about how he didn't trust my other sister. You know, my sister Hagar, one of my older sisters. And I would question him why, you know, and he was just like, you know, something about her is not right. And I feel like she's just getting money from me. Like she's just using me for money, saying that her daughter is sick when her daughter potentially may not be sick. You know, he was paying thousands of dollars for the child to have some kind of treatments and stuff that we know of. She would say, yeah, she may not live past 8 years old. Next thing you know, she's like 10 years old. She may not live past 10 years old. Next thing you know, it was just like, wait a minute. Now the girl's like 25 years old with like 6 kids, you know. So, I mean, I don't want to say 6. I don't know if it's that much. I haven't, you know, I'm just giving you an example. She got a lot of kids, though.
What were you?
You know,
when I'm gonna bounce back to that in a minute. Just speaking of that, were you? Have you ever been in contact with Prince York, the one that we see on Sinetta TV, formerly on Sinetta?
Yeah, that very disrespectful child. Yes, I used to take care of him when he was a child. When his mother used to run around chasing behind my father, you know, she would literally just leave her child for me and my other sister to take care of. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I used to change his diapers.
Oh, so he was he on the land too, or was he in Bushwick?
He was on the land. He wasn't born in Bushwick.
Okay.
He's not old enough. He's only in his 20s now, probably like 23, maybe 24 at the most.
Right. Wow. So y'all fell out also, you and Prince York?
Well, the child has always been very disrespectful. The last time that me and him had words or exchanged words, it was a family reunion, and I just gave birth to my daughter. This was about 7 years ago. I gave birth to my daughter, and I wasn't supposed to be out, but I wanted to go to my family reunion. I just insisted on going. And he just got really disrespectful. You know, he was just all about designer and why don't you have Gucci on and why are you not wearing this? And I was just like, why would I want to wear stuff like that? He was basically disrespecting the fact that I was a very cultural person, you know. And my other brother, Maki, they ended up having some words and fighting over the fact that, you know, he was being so disrespectful to me. He has no respect for women, you know, never did, you know, and I understand the reason why, because, you know, your mother was never there really, you know, so, you know, I get it, you know.
Wow.
The more I look at these boys' situations, the more I understand. It's like their mothers were so busy chasing behind, you know, their father that they didn't give them lap time, or they didn't hug them enough. So now they grow up hating women, you know. So I get it.
Got you. So now back to your sister. What ultimately blew up, whereas though y'all parted ways in a bad way? Remember you said that she was jealous of you or something like that. What ultimately happened? And then as we move forward to Bushwick.
Well, what happened was, it's interesting. You know, my dad was pretty much at the point where he was teaching me everything, and he was explaining to me that I was going to be taking her spot, that I was going to be, you know, the one that's going to be taking care of all of the finances, or he's teaching me financing and teaching me all of the back end of the business, which she was already teaching me. She was aware of the fact that he was teaching me or going to teach me this stuff. One of my best friends that was on the land, his name was Khalid. He was actually one of my best friends, you know, boyfriend, whatever. They used that as an excuse. She literally, in the middle of the night, woke me up out of my sleep in the middle of the night and told me that my ride was there. And I was like, what do you mean? My mother gave me full custody to my dad during that time. So I was like, where am I going? You know, I had no clue where I was supposed to be going or where I was going. This lady, Patricia Lewis, Sakina, she actually drove me and dropped me off to my mom's old house where my mom no longer stayed at. And I ended up in the foster care system.
Oh my. And when was it? How old were you then? Were you 16 then?
Yes, I was 16 then.
Did anybody reach out to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, did anybody like hold up? What happened to Uma? What happened to Uma? Where's Uma?
No, I mean during this time, you know, it's not like, you know, phones were like famous and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, it's not like cell phones like that. It was more like landline phones and stuff. Yeah, I was basically displaced. My mom wasn't living there anymore. You know, so she was gone, and I was basically dropped in front of a house and, you know, had nowhere to go. Good thing I knew the people in the neighborhood. You know, as a child, I knew some of the people in the neighborhood because my mom lived there for so many years. So I just went across the street to one of my friend's house, this lady, Mrs. Parker, who took care of me for a little bit. And then I ended up, I didn't know, first of all, I was raised in a communal environment. So because I was raised in a communal environment, I assumed that everybody that lived in her household was family.
Right.
But I found out that she was getting checks for all of these kids. And basically she was a person that was working for the foster care system. And all she did was basically process me through the foster care system so that she can get paid for me to be there. I told these people that I don't belong here, that my dad, they could send me back to my dad. I'm supposed to be with my dad. You know, my story sounded crazy to anybody who heard it. You know, when someone says, I have 120 brothers and sisters, my father is a millionaire, we have pyramids in Georgia, you know, stuff like that sounds really crazy to the average person, you know, and I had to learn that growing up. I had to accept that, you know. So, yeah, you know, they kept me, did a bunch of psychosocials and stuff like that, you know, the normal. The therapist was like, this child's not crazy. I don't know what it is, but everything she's saying is very consistent. You know, but, you know, I was just another check to them.
Wow. Oh, man. So what ultimately, when did you leave the foster care system? How did that work?
I ran away. I eventually ran away from the foster care system when I was about 18 years old. I ran away from the foster care. I was, you know, being put from home to home to home consistently. Literally being put in the hands of different child molesters and all kinds of people that were just threatening. I ended up running away, and I ran away with a friend that I ended up meeting, you know, from the streets and stuff. And I stayed with them. Their mother didn't have any girls. And she was like, as a matter of fact, I believe I was about 17 years old, as a matter of fact. And, you know, she was like, you know, I don't have any girls, so that's fine. You can come stay with me. She appreciated having a girl around, you know, and she took care of me up until I told her my stories. And at first she didn't know what to think of it, but then she started to believe me. And she got in contact with my dad. And that's how we found out that my dad was like, I've been looking for my daughter for years. And then my dad started giving me finances and stuff like that, telling me to stay away, that people are out for blood and that people are trying to get rid of him, and they're trying to get rid of, they did that to get rid of me because they, you know, had a general idea that, you know, I was different, I guess. Or I was just always different. I wasn't with whatever was going on. You know, and I was a child that could always see it. I could see things, you know, so, yeah. He told me to stay away. He would have my brother's mother, my brother Solomon's mother, send me money, Viva Western Union. And hell, she started to steal some of my money. He told me I would send you $1,000 every month. And it went from $1,000 to $700 to $300. You know, eventually, and until I started saying stuff about it, and you know, then he started sending another brother to send me money, or to come to me to give me money directly, and eventually that guy was also stealing money as well.
So, what year did that ultimately happen? That, you know, that you were back in contact with your father, y'all was communicating, and you know, it seems to be that y'all was could reconnecting. What year was that?
That was like let me put my years together because I'm so old. I ain't think about it.
I'm just trying to put it together.
I was about 17, 18.
Okay.
18, yeah, going on 19 around that time. Me and my father were in connection with each other, constantly talking, communicating back and forth with each other. And then he told me he wanted me to go to Bushwick Avenue.
So when did you arrive at Bushwick? And anybody's not familiar with Bushwick, that was wasn't that like the central location of the Ansar Law and everything that developed from there?
Yeah, it's the house where I was born at. Yeah, that's where everything started. It's the house where I was born at. That's why he told me to go back to that house, because, you know, he's like, you were displaced all this time. That was something that I wanted to happen to you. You know, I literally, you know, he wanted me to go back and run the bookstore for him because he knew that I knew how to run the business, because he taught me how to run the business. Right. Yeah, my father got incarcerated. When my dad got incarcerated, then, you know.
Look, let me see. What year did he actually get locked up?
He got locked up in May 8th, 2002.
Okay.
Let me look at his arrest records, because what I found interesting about his arrest record is that they didn't process it till like May, June, July, August, September, October. 5 months my dad was missing out of this system for some strange reason.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It said May 2002.
Right, it's May 8th, 2002 that they have. But when I went to Sheriff Field's office myself, because I went to Sheriff Field's office to do my own research myself, and he had him processed. He had him processed in October of 2002, and I asked him why was my dad processed in October if y'all had him since May. And what he said to me was that he was in a deprogramming prison. And I didn't understand that part. I was like, what do you mean a deprogramming prison? He was like, well, you know, we did the initial arrest, but we had to hand him over to someone else The guy's an idiot. Sheriff Fields, you know what, let me not say that just in case I gotta go back to his office.
Right. Man. Okay. Now, is a video. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And
yeah, if you've seen that picture of my dad sitting on top of a book called Ungodly, I was the one that took that picture in Sheriff Phil's office. I went to his office to get some paperwork on my dad, and I seen that picture. I seen that his doll. He had his doll in his possession. I was just like, how do you have access to his doll? You know, unless you took it from children or the land.
let me see.
Yeah.
Malik. Let me go here real quick. There's also what we were talking about yesterday. I got about 30 minutes, which I really want to get into is Brother Polight.
Okay.
When did you first meet Brother Polight? Was that in Bushwick?
Yeah, that was in Bushwick Avenue. During that time, I was in Bushwick, and you know, I was the house was pretty much, you know, handed over to me. You know, unfortunately, when I got there, there were other people there. This lady's sister Sakina there, who she definitely did not want to leave the property during the time that my dad told them to leave the property. So instead, what she did was she found this guy, Polight, I guess, and they made up their little bogus story about them saying that my dad wanted him to run the store or to be able to run the Bushwick store. And I refused to believe anything they said. I wanted it in writing. I wanted to see. I didn't even care anything about the writings at all because I watched these people. These people literally were falsifying letters. So I told them I wanted to hear out his own mouth. Never heard it. You know, so I refused to let these people, you know, do what they did. The lady, Patricia Lewis, let the guy in the building on the first floor, which was the bookstore, allowed him to do whatever he was doing. That the man was living there with his pregnant wife, or his pregnant girlfriend. Amunette, or whatever her name is.
Amunette?
She was a skinny girl. Yeah, that's her name.
She's from Trinidad?
No, she's not from Trinidad.
I thought you said she's a Trini girl.
No, I said she was a real skinny girl.
Yeah, she was. She was, and I have actually have I have old pictures. Let me see if I can pull one up. Yeah,
I remember her being really frail. That's how I remember her, and because she was pregnant, and all you could see was the belly. Yeah,
she was very, very frail. In fact, she. I mean, she got. I don't judge women, or let me say, I don't pass judgment on anybody. But it seems to me now that she has a bunch of implants and a lot of other stuff going on now. But I do have some original. If I can, I do have some old original pictures of her, and it had to be in that era of time when let me see if I got it right here. It had to be in that era of time. I can't find it right now, but nevertheless, it had to be in that era of time that you're talking about, because she was major. She's like, as the old people say, she was thin as a rail.
Yes. These people were starving. You can tell these people were starving. They were going, and you can tell that lady's sister Sakina, she must have gave them some kind of. She must have, gave them a deal or something, like said, hey, you know, I'll feed you and do all that, take care of you, you know, and then she was gonna do all of this on my father's expense, you know. Yeah. Basically, she did. Actually, she did do it under my father's expense.
So let me ask you something. When I will tell you this, because I spoke to you and you was mentioning that, you know, he was seeming to be in a gang and Crip and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when I look for definitive history of Polight, there's not a lot there. Even when you go to Brownsville, and I've spoken to people who lived in Brownsville all their life, they don't have a strong connection, if you will, or definitive they don't have a conversation that says, yeah, this guy was this guy was that, this guy was this guy was that. Although I've seen pictures that he put up where he's putting up a gang sign or two, but nothing like, I know real gang members, you know what I'm saying? And I know gang members who take pictures. You feel me? But you can't find a lot of Polight around gang members. You can't find a lot of that, which a lot of it seemed made up to me. I'm not sure. Or maybe he dibbled and dabbed a little bit. But when you met him, were you immediately in opposition to him because of the claim that he was supposed to run the store? Or did you ever initially have a working relationship or some type of communication that was reasonable to work with?
Well, I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt because it's just the type of person that I am in general. So what I and because he did have a pregnant woman there, I assumed that these people, my father took in a lot of people, so I didn't, who am I to turn them away? That's how I looked at it. So I was actually being, humble and allowing these people to come into the store or allowing them to be in the store. We were technically supposed to be having a meeting about how the store was going to be operated because, I had a lot of bills in my name and stuff like that. And these people literally were just running up bills. So I told them if they're going to be there, that they're going to have to start paying bills and they're going to have to start reporting whatever money is coming into the store. That conversation never happened. Instead, the day that I was supposed to have the conversation with him was the day that he attempted to kill me.
And let me real quick. I want you to hear this because I've seen this interview. Hold on a second. Watch this. Okay.
Can you talk about that situation? Yeah.
Hold on. I want you to hear this, and maybe you can narrate that if this you inform me that this was actually your story. And I've seen this actually when the interview happened. And actually at that time, I thought Polight wasn't the person who I've come to know him to be. But I still question his story. But here it is.
You actually got arrested for attempted murder? Yeah. Okay. Can you talk about the situation? Yeah, that's the last one. The most recent situation I want to do. I was part of a community organization that one of my wives is the daughter of the leader of the community. And it was just a lot of trouble back and forth. The leader gave me one of the buildings to run, and it was just a lot of chaos. The children felt they should inherit the building of their father.
Right there. That's so the wife that he's
definitely talking about me.
Say it again.
He's talking about me in regards to the inherited of the building. I was already on the property. I have already inherited the building. In regards to the wife that he's talking about, that was my sister. That was my sister ML, and she's a sister from Sudan. So she didn't know anything that was going on. Or for some strange, the older I got, I started to realize that, a lot of these people were out for blood. They wanted me out of the way because her mother also had wanted dibs on that property as well. And when I met her mother, I told her, I said, I don't know if you know, but my dad has over 100 and some kids, because she thought it was just her and her brother Muhammad. She thought it was just ML and Muhammad. And I said no, because, you know, I was walking inside the house one time and she thought I was her daughter. And I was like, no, I'm not her. I'm Uma. I said, I'm People know me as also. I said, I'm And she was like, well, you know, you know, this house and the situation. I was like, well, he gave it to me. So if you want, I said, if you want anything dealing with my father, you need to get in line, because there's about 120 of us that are entitled to it before you are.
Wow.
And ever since that, these people did not like me, because I was very pro-advocate for my family, for my younger brothers and sisters, because a lot of my younger brothers and sisters ended up homeless and on the streets after my father got incarcerated, while the organization did nothing but rob them, commit fraud, and steal all of our inheritance.
Wow. And so do you, when Polight shows up, you again, did you ever have any type of cordial relationship with him whatsoever, or did it start off rocky from day one?
I mean, it was, you know, he got upset because, you know, I had him escorted off the property. You know, these people were selling drugs in the building. You know, I was pretty much aware of what crack pipes look like. You know, come on, I'm an 80s baby, you know. Shit, you know what a crack pipe look like. So, you know, these people were pretty upset at the fact that I wasn't allowing them to do the type of things that they were trying to do in the house to make money, you know. So it was him and some guy named Water around that time, and he had a couple of other people there as well. You know, these people continued to threaten my life pretty much the whole time, even after him being incarcerated for the short period of time. For the attempt murder. The only reason it was dropped was because I was continuously being harassed by the entire organization every day.
So you were the actual one that he tried to attempted to murder?
Yes, I was the one that he tried to kill. Yes.
So hold on one second. Let me play this back just one more second. So
1 second.
And I'm here like, yo, the man gave me the building to run, and he gave me other responsibilities, and it was being overridden, and it was people in the community making sure that I don't get that space in leadership. They made my task very hard, and it created a great deal of contentions and the drama between the biological family and myself. Just wound up it started to escalate so much that in turn, when guns is being pulled out on people and people are
stop right there. So when he says that it escalated so much that guns are being pulled out, is he talking about on your people? Were anybody coming to your defense, or was it just Polight?
It was him and his friend Water and some other guy named Hernandez. You know, it was some Puerto Rican dude that was with him, another really dark-skinned brother. I don't know these people, you know, offhand, but when I see their face, I know all these people's faces for sure. But yeah, there was them. You know, they asked, my sister came upstairs, my sister who eventually ended up being his wife. This happened the night of the Eid. You know, she came upstairs and knocked on my door and said, the meeting with Polight wants to speak to you. Now, my brother, you know, he's a very devoted Muslim. You know, we born and raised Muslim, you know. So he said, no, it's the night of the Eid. You're not going to go downstairs and talk to this guy at all. And instead, he said, I'm going to go downstairs and see what he wants. Because technically the conversation was about that we were supposed to be having was about the bills of the house, and that the house, the bills needed to be paid. And you're not going to sit here and continue to squat, you know what I'm saying, when bills are literally piling up in my name, you know? So that was originally the conversation that we were supposed to be having. It never happened. Instead, all I heard was shots. My brother was being shot at. My brother got shot twice in the head and still lives to speak about it.
During that incident resulted in your brother getting shot in the head?
Yes, my brother got shot in the head twice. The bullets grazed his head. Both bullets grazed his head. It dismembered his ear and dismembered certain parts. I don't like to even think about it because I was the person that pulled him inside of the house. And I watched my brother bleed all over the floor, so yeah, that was the traumatizing situation for me. My son was upstairs, scared to death, you know.
So
my
when you
sister
say
was there, my oldest sister was there.
when you say your brother, right?
Yeah, my brother, he's my half brother.
Okay. Is he a child of your father also, or
No,
he's a child of your mother?
He's a kin. Yeah, my older sister. I have an older sister named Besma. That's her younger brother, but she was also in the house with me during the time that this incident happened. We were both upstairs, just relaxing, sisters, and we had our kids there, just hanging out, and for the night of the Eid, celebrating the Eid. So he came by to hang out with us as well, So that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when the shots rang out, it came from the Polight side, is what you're saying. And what they just do,
Yes.
they just got out of there?
Yeah, it was that they were the only ones that had guns that obviously shot my brother inside of the bookstore. As soon as I heard the shot, my first instinct was to run downstairs. I don't know why that was my first instinct, but my first instinct was to run downstairs. I ran downstairs and opened the door to the bookstore and seen Polight standing right there, him and his friend Water standing right there. I grabbed my brother because he was stumbling. I didn't realize what was really happening. He was stumbling. He stumbled on me, and when you look at the door is like the door to the actual house is like right there next to the store. So I grabbed him inside of the house and ran upstairs. My other brother, Muhammad from Sudan, he came downstairs, running downstairs to look to see what was going on or whatever. I ran upstairs to, potentially to call the cops, ambulance, all of that. And I'm looking at my window and I see Polight running across the street to one of my neighbor's house, throwing away, taking off his shirt and his hat and everything, literally throwing it in their trash. The people literally told me about it later on. They were like, yeah, this guy came over here, had blood splatter and stuff on him and whatever. And, he put this stuff inside the trash over there, So, yeah, that's... So, and I actually seen him running across the street to actually do that myself, with my own eyes.
So hold on one second. This is getting interesting. Hold on one second. I want to see what else did he say, because this is like updating me from what some of this stuff I used to think that he was embellishing.
Right, people. One of the brothers got shot in his head.
Oh, he actually says it.
Yeah, that's what someone told me. They were like, this man admits to actually attempting to kill you in a video. I was like, wow. So he really feels like he got away with that shit. And mind you, my entire life, I've been staying away from these people that's a part of this organization, including my dad's organization. They're not to be trusted. None of these people, in my eyes, were to be trusted. You know what I'm saying? So, at this point, I was just, I'm like scared for my life. These people, they like, you see these people every day. Every day I walk out my house and people are right there. I know who to trust at this point in my life. Like,
Let
me
run that back one more time, because he just let me play it one more time.
One of the brothers got shot in his head, and because I called for the meeting to have with the brother, and he got shot very shortly after the meeting. Of course, I was praying for the shooting. Okay. This was got locked up for it. This was during your gangbanging days? I was still gangbanging, but I had one foot in, one foot out. Yeah. Because at that time, my teacher my teacher's the one that actually funded the teardrop to get off my eye. Like, he funded the laser surgery. Oh, okay. So you had a teardrop where? Right, yeah, right there. So he actually funded the laser surgery for it to be taken off. And,
Say it again.
you know, for me.
I said the only person that could have did that was Patricia Lewis. My father did not know anything about this man, Polight.
So that's what I was going to ask next. Did your father ever meet Polight, or according to what you know, have he ever interacted, talked to, or anything with Polight?
Never. My father was incarcerated during the time. If you look at my father's case says he is unable to conduct business on anybody's behalf. So these people are lying. He's never met my dad a day in his life. He's never seen him, never touched him, don't know nothing about him at all. He's another person idolizing and worshiping him on a different level. These people are obsessed with my dad. I don't know what it is, but they're obsessed with him, you know? And I find that to be sickening to me.
Okay.
That shit is sickening.
Okay. And yeah, I think he rode the I know people like that will ride the gang ticket. I was a Blood, I was a Crip, I was this, I was that. But it's something about him that seems as if he's riding the ticket as opposed to be fully affiliated. And I know some fully affiliated people. He just don't come off like that. However,
he's definitely not affiliated. I don't think he's gang affiliated. I think he used that as a tactic to scare people.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Because I know I can bring some on the show, and I'm telling you, this is not that.
Mm-hmm. See, but what I thought was weird was, you know, the fact that the organization turned their back on me after that whole situation. They didn't protect me. If anything, they more so threatened me more. Including my family as well. You know, my uncle literally protected him. You know, people like King Simon, you know, who was supposedly my spiritual uncle, you know, he literally helped this man build his platform, and it might have been I literally, you know, I told King Simon about him, you know, in regards to him helping me run the bookstore and stuff like that. And that was before the shooting happened. But after the shooting happened, you would have thought that he would have said, wait a minute, you know, this is weird. Like, I'm not going to get involved. But instead, these people literally helped him and pushed him on a bigger platform so that this guy can grow. And that's what they did.
So this is the part where I was telling people on the show last night, I said, you know, I got a sister. She got a real story to tell. Hopefully she'll come on Morsh World TV. So this is the part that I was considering from talking to you privately. Was King Simon aware that he attempted to kill you and your brother?
The whole organization knows about it.
Was Sinetta aware that this took place? Was he around then too?
Sinetta is aware. There's no way Sinetta is not aware of it. My mom has spoken to some of these people. My mom spoke to Brother Polight about the situation after it happened at King Simon's convention. We literally went there to talk, to see what the hell, why the hell, you know what I'm saying? And you know, and the reality of it is, you know, these people were protecting each other, including my family protecting them as well. You know, so my uncle was protecting my aunt. Mm-hmm.
So King Simon was your spiritual uncle, right?
Yeah, I've known him since I was a little girl. I've known him since I was a child, literally running around in hijab. You know, I've known him since I was a baby, practically.
Did you know him when he was on the land? Because he said he spent some time on the land also.
I know him. I don't know him from on the land. I know him from Ansar Law Community. And
that's the Ansar days.
Yeah, he would always come visit my mom when my mom lived on Vanderbilt Street in, you know, in Brooklyn. He would always come visit my mom. You know, my mom was like the caretaker of all the kids. So all the kids will always come to her house. Jacob would come to her house all the time. You know, Yadalahi, Fadallah, all of them, they would, you know, Fatima, all of the older kids, they will always come to my mom's house all the time. So me and my brother always had, you know, we always were, you know, the ones that had relationships with a lot of our siblings, because my mom was always, you know, trying to keep in touch with every, you know, mother, and, you know, trying to keep us in touch with all of our siblings.
So would you say that King Simon, aware of all of the drama, especially with the shooting? I mean, trying to kill a woman, that's like, I mean, to kill anybody, let me keep it a buck. To kill anybody, to try to kill anybody over something that's not even yours, over something that you have not even worked for, something that you never possess, in this case of the bookstore, and an argument over the bookstore that you did not even work for. You're not a child to inherit. To kill anybody over that is insane. But then to turn it up a little bit more, to attempt to kill a woman who is the biological child of the owner of the property. And I just want to bring a reality that, so King Simon, you're saying that King Simon was aware of all of this and still moved forward to usher Polight into the limelight?
Somehow, I don't know why, but yes, he did. These people, and this is what he said to me. When I asked him about the situation, he said, "I remember you used to speak about it." He said, "Just be mindful who you speak to. Make sure they are credible." He said, "I don't have any hidden agenda because of your father's situation." I said, to be honest with you, you never know who to trust, especially in situations like this. I said, when I told people that he tried to kill me, they brushed it under the rug and act like I was crazy, but continue to uprise this demon. I said, and that includes family. He said, "I didn't find out about your situation until late. Sorry that you got traumatized in any way." I said, honestly, the older I get, the more I realize that no one cared. I said, and it was all about money to them.
So is what you're reading from a text?
Yeah, this is a text from between me and King Simon.
How old is the text?
The text is probably about 2 weeks old.
Okay, I got you. So 2 weeks old. He's claiming that he wasn't aware of the situation that you're describing now.
He said it wasn't. He's saying that he wasn't aware about it until it was too late. The whole everyone knew about the shooting. Everyone knew about it.
Yeah, because Bushwick is not like the whole state of New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then this is what he said back to me. He says, yes, it is about it. Basically, it's about money. And he said, be safe and have a good evening. He said, integrity has been removed from our community. I said, it was never a community.
Wow.
That was our last conversation.
So I'm going to ask you one more time, because I might have to use this if I ever interview him. Are you of the thought that let me start with King Simon, that King Simon was fully aware that Polight was a detriment to the community by what he committed towards you and other things that we probably haven't got time to mention, and proceeded to promote, push, and elevate him to the top of our, what they will call, conscious community? Is that what you're saying?
That's a fact. They did it for money. All of them did it for money. All these people were blood hungry for money. And that's why I said what I said about them, that you people did it for money. Y'all brushed it under the rug and continue to put this demon on a pedestal.
Sis,
y'all knew what they were doing.
I'm going to ask you, I want to do with a test run with this recording. Can I do a few sound bites and cloud your voice up if you and and throw the questions out there to the public that they were covering. Was Sinetta, and I'm gonna title it something to the effect, was Sinetta and Brother Polight covering, Sinetta and King Simon covering for Brother Polight, something on that level, and have a discussion on my channel. I'll take sound bites from this recording, but I will disguise it, the voice, if you will, and present it to the public. Is that something? Would you have a problem with that?
You know what? You don't have to disguise my voice. Like I said, I'm at the point of my life where none of these people know where I live. None of them know where I live.
So let's
none
do
of
this.
them know where I live.
How about this? I'll do that on Wednesday, because tonight I got Doggy Diamonds, and I'll do that on Wednesday, and we'll see what the feedback is. And maybe if you feel comfortable, maybe you can come back live and I can ask you not only these questions, but some more questions, because you are an easy person to interview, because you're coming from the gut with this, from the soul with this, from experience.
This is because I can't make this shit up. This is my life. This is my life experiences. Like it's sad that I had to go through this as a child. And the older I get, when I initiated into voodoo, that's what made me become stronger, have more of a backbone, and stop letting people just walk all over me. This entire nation has been discrediting me my entire life. So yeah, the fact that he got incarcerated, that helped me so much. I swear, helped me so much to not be so sheltered. You know what I'm saying? To not be that person that was, afraid. I don't get me wrong. I still fear, because those people, they're everywhere. Those Nubians, they're everywhere. So I still fear for my life from those people, because they are all collectively, to me, dangerous. All of them.
Wow. Now for Sinetta, what role do you think Sinetta played? Do you think he played the same role as King Simon, fully aware of the atrocities that was committed and the nonsense that was brought by Polight, not only to you and your family, but even to the community, and Sinetta overlooked it to promote Polight for the sake of money?
I believe that these people were being paid. All of them were being paid, and I believe that
sis, I say the same thing, sis.
This lady Patricia Lewis had a lot to do with paying these people, because she's definitely involved in it. She's a person that tries to hide, like she's not there, but she's there. And this lady said to me when I was in the building, when I was in my father's house, she said to me she was upset because when Sister Samira died, because she was the original caretaker of 717 Bushwick Avenue, when she died, she just bombarded herself inside of the Bushwick Avenue store. And what she said to me when I spoke to her about, these certain situations is, she said, I spent 12 years in my life and I'm not walking away with nothing. That's what she said to me. And I believe that woman, she was definitely helping, supporting King Simon and Polight. And she might have been also paying Sinetta as well.
And I've always thought that Sinetta was getting a check from somewhere, because the way that he did his platform, it was so biased. And it was so biased for Polight to win. Even when Polight
they never wanted to hear
crazy.
my side of the story. These people never wanted to hear my side of the story at all. Never. They didn't want me to speak about it. Everybody wanted me to just shut up, stay dormant, and that's it. And as you see, that's what I've done for years.
Is Sinetta aware of you? Have he ever met you? Have he ever heard about you?
He knows my mother. He knows my mother. He knows my little brother. He knows who I am. These people will just brush it off like they don't, but they know me. And I'm the child that mostly their whole organization knows me.
Wow. So
unless they're new, and unless they're newcomers, and there's a lot of newcomers, that have joined that organization. But You know, a lot of the old heads, they all have known me, from people like David Ward slamming my knee inside the door, people spitting in my face, you know, all of these different things that I've been through in my life from these people that are a part of this organization. You know, I've really had some traumatizing experiences, you know.
Have you heard, because we were having a conversation last night on my channel with sister Miss Monumental, and we was talking about I had mentioned that I spoke to somebody about Polight, and we were talking about that this child molestation that he's charged with is not new.
No, it's not.
Are you did you hear any stories in that space that Polight have committed something similar to these acts, or is this something that goes on in this community that Polight is a part of?
So I've been saying this for years, that these people are harboring child molesters. Yes, there are multiple cases of people that are still walking around and still hanging out in that organization. You know, people like Basil Muhammad, who goes by the name Dushwa York. You know, he's a known child molester and a woman beater. You know, there's other people that, you know, they don't want to speak about, that a lot of people in this organization are fully aware of people molesting people and brushing it under the rug. They are very aware of it. Very.
So do you think Polight was a part of that child molestation culture and it just caught up with him?
You know, the child molestation culture, I mean, from what I hear, you know, they literally tell these brothers that it's okay to be with 15-year-olds. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't know what part of their teachings that come from. I don't know where that come from, because I've never heard of that up until my dad got incarcerated. That's when I started hearing stuff like that, you know. And these people are literally, these people been preying. They prey on young girls. Another creepy guy was in my Facebook recently talking about how he watched me grow up since I was a kid, you know, and just it felt so creepy when he said it. And I even mentioned how creepy it was to him, you know, and he laughed it off. And I was just like, these people are freaking sick. You get what I'm saying? Like, these people are sick. There's young kids that have gotten molested even after my father's been incarcerated, and then no one's talking about it. They don't want to talk about it because they don't want to destroy, I guess, the name of the organization. But the reality of it is there are children being hurt and no one's talking about it. They're brushing the shit under the rug. And for anybody that speaks about it, they label them crazy, or they're a person that has problems and stuff like that. You know, so this is the type of stuff that you're dealing with, and it's like a cult of people that I don't even know how to explain this type of behavior. Like, it's like some kind of organized crime that they're doing with child molestation among themselves. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, don't speak about it. It's like stuff you can't speak about it, but you talk to certain children, and certain children are afraid to speak about it themselves because it's in the family. And is this one connected to this one, and that one's related to that one, and that one? You see how he easily said, oh, yeah, I was married to his daughter. Like, bro, are you serious? So you see that it's some kind of family problem. It's a connection going on there. You get what I'm saying? And, yeah, and it goes as far in as to the organization as well. Yes, there's definitely something there.
Wow. So, sis, I don't know if you'll be available on Thursday, but if you're available on Thursday, I wanna do take a couple sound bites out of this and do a show on Wednesday on Moorish World TV and put some commentary to it, addressing King Simon, Sinetta, as well as I'm gonna put Polight in the title too, and see what the response is. And if you're available Thursday evening, would you be interested in coming on Moorish World TV?
Let's see how the universe makes things work, you know.
I got to get back to work today, sis, but I'm going to call you later. I just got to get, it's 2:00 where I'm at. I got a few appointments I got to fulfill before my show tonight. But is it okay if I call you back later so we can wrap up and on some ideas of maybe a future interview or something?
Definitely, it's fine. It's fun.
Sis, let me
it's
tell
actually
you,
therapeutic for me to be able to talk about it, honestly.
Yeah. So let me tell you, sister, I wanna thank you so much for your candidness. I can't wait till you are able to till you feel comfortable and, like you said, the universe line things up for you're
Yes.
able to go around and tell this story, have the security that you need to save some lives. You know, this is very important that this story get out.
Yeah, it's to literally to help these kids, you know, because these people, they come into this organization blindsided, you know, and all of them are already going through something with some kind of hurt and pain, and they're looking for some kind of relief or some kind of, you know, spiritual retreat, or I don't know what they're looking for, but this is not, these people, they need help themselves. They're walking into a problem, you know, and that's the sad part.
Before I let you go, you had mentioned that you was in protective custody at one time.
Yes, I was.
Was that because of the Polight situation or another situation?
Yes, that's because of the Polight. It's because of the Polight situation. I didn't trust my family members as well. So, you know, when I started explaining the situation to the FBI, they were like, this seems a little weird. You know, so yeah, I was in protective custody for a while, and they also guarded the house, Bushwick Avenue. I was still living there. They guarded the house while I was on under protective custody. When I came back to the house under protective custody.
Wow. And what name do Patricia Lewis go by today? She still go by as Patricia Lewis?
She goes by the name Sister Sakina.
Sister Sakina. How you spell it?
Or Sakina, Sakina. Sakina.
Oh, Sakina. Okay. Yeah, I got to get, sis, I'm going to be calling you before my show tonight if you got a minute just to follow up and see if we can set something up. Yeah,
because this rabbit hole gets deeper too. This rabbit hole gets a lot deeper than what we speak about as well.
Yeah,
I'm literally saving some people by not mentioning their names, honestly.
No, we don't want to save
I sure as well do want to.
We don't want to save
I sure as hell don't want
to. We're not going to save any. We're going to get them all out there.
Oh, no, we're not.
We're going to get them all out there.
We're not.
And I'm going to just call you later as soon as I finish work today, grab the children and get them settled. And I'm going to call you to see if we can organize to set up another conversation. All right?
Definitely. As a matter of fact, I got to go get my daughter too anyway. It's off the after school time.
Yeah, I appreciate you, sis. Thanks again, sis. And I'll be talking to you soon. Peace and blessings to you, your children. And again,
peace and blessings.
And again, tell your mother I said thank her for referencing myself to you.
Definitely, Ashe. Thank you.
Peace and love, sis.
Peace.
So, family, people was asking last night, I wonder what it is. So that's what it is, family. And it gets even deeper than that. I talked to her for hours and hours. And this is why people don't understand why I be running so late with the show sometimes. Like, come on, Taharkabey, where you at? Like, I be setting up a show and talking to people reaching out to me. And I don't want to bring, like somebody wrote up in here earlier what they said. Let me see real quick. So he was really married to Dr. York's daughter with Lady T. You have to understand that that Dr. York had over 150 children, according to not only Sister Uma that just spoke, but other people that claim to be Dr. York's children. And this is a known thing. This is not new information. It's a known thing. And so for one that say he was married to Dr. York's daughter, and then Uma said, yeah, the daughter, this one is from the Sudan. It's plausible and reasonable to believe because Uma, I don't see a reason why Uma would have to embellish, because it'd be easy to say, well, no, he never was married to my father's daughter. It would that would be more easier. And then someone else said, and I wrote, be patient. I'm not sure about her, I think somebody said. And yeah, Lady T said, I'm not sure about this one. And I said, be patient. And the reason why I said be patient, because she has more information that I had interviewed. And I'm not going to send you a fugazi. I'm not going to bring you a fugazi interview with questionable stuff where, you know, interviewing somebody, you never know at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to do my best to hear the person before I bring them on, so we can make sure that we have quality commentary and response. Even my brother Crip say, Crip was talking about, well, Dr. York is not a pedophile no more. Well, in fact, if we go deeper into the conversation with sis, she had mentioned to me that she talked to victims, that she's talked to actual children that was victims, and people that have grown up to be adults at victims. And she doesn't try to cover anything. I will say that, but we'll save that. So the point that I was making is that he was convicted of racketeering. He wasn't convicted of all of these rapes or child molestation, if you will. You know, it's hundreds of people that claim that. I'm not going to say hundreds. It's possibly hundreds that have indicted him for child molestation. And it's a lot of stories out. You know, but we were just talking from a legal perspective. But once we get deeper into the conversation with Sister Uma, she talks about the people that she talked to. She talks about all of that stuff. But I tried my best to do a best interview, not to be biased, not to be critical of the interviewee, so the interviewee can flow from their perspective. You know, like a lot of times we want to see our perspective, but I think if we allow the people to flow from their perspective, we'll get a full scope of what we're looking at. Because there's victims out there with interviews that say they've been touched by Dr. York. So I believe that these victims didn't make these stories up. I'm almost sure that these stories have some credibility. You know what I mean? Have some credibility to it. But I talked to the sister for over 3 hours one day, and then an hour another day. She has a lot more coming, and a lot of it can be verified because Arrogant Polight actually talks about the same stories. In fact, she is filing papers in court as we speak. So this is not something where somebody is talking about. They actually pursuing charges, reopening charges. It's a lot more to this. So like Lady T said, I just have to hear more. Lady T, there is a lot more to come. There's a lot more to come. She's going full force with this demonstration. She gained the confidence when they locked Polight up, because now she feels as though Polight is under the eye of the eagle, if you will, and now she can move forward to try to reconcile some of the things that was committed against her and her family. Before, Polight was just running free, running wild, and could have got the same people who shot her brother in the head to come with her. You know what I'm saying? And so she's pursuing it. I'll say that. So with that being said, family, thank you so much, family, for your patience. I know we haven't been live here in a minute, but I'm telling you, family, for all of those that has been patient with me, Lady T, Maymoon, Abu X, Cryptonomics, thank you, Cryptonomics, Sean, who is my Man, I got to get everybody in here. Because I be forgetting people. MD Zot, Truth, and who else like to speak up in here? The original people. I want to thank all of y'all, family, because it does take, I'm telling you, I try to juggle everything. Many people lose confidence and like, man, he ain't doing nothing in the throne. He ain't doing nothing in the throne. Family, just work with me. It's coming. It's coming. Everything's coming. You know what I'm saying? I just need to juggle my schedule to make sure it gets right. But we're gonna bring, we gotta bring sis. I got another brother from Dr. York camp that's gonna come on here too. That was there with Dr. York. I'm gonna reach out to him today and schedule that maybe for tomorrow. I think that'd be nice to get that in tomorrow. But let me go. I got to get back to work. Thank you again, family. Just hold on, family. Your $10 a month ain't wasted. I'm just was busy, but I'll tell you, we got some good stuff coming in. Thank you for all your support. Any money that I make from this platform, that's going to be the gas and the maintenance for the vehicle. Y'all know I do got the vehicle. In fact, I need to take and schedule it for an inspection today before I finish my day. So I'm going to get that done too. Thank you again, family. Thank you, DC. And thank you, everybody who subscribed to this Miss Monumental. Thank you. I think this will give Miss Monumental some, once she file her paperwork, we'll get Miss Monumental to examine that and see how we looking with that. With that being said, peace and love, family. I got to get out of here and enjoy the rest of your day. And I see you tonight with Doggy Diamonds. In fact, let me show you. In fact, I'm going to give you exclusives of the flyer, and I'm not even finished yet. Let me see. This is the flyer. I am pretty much finished, but this is the flyer. This is the flyer. Give me 1 second. And then I'm gone for real. This is the flyer. I love this flyer. This flyer gonna be jumping. So hold on. This is the flyer for tonight. Y'all get the exclusives, but this